What I learned from my first month as an Airbnb host. In this episode, I'm going to give you everything that I learned, all the mistakes that I made, so hopefully you won't make them as well. Don't forget, this episode is sponsored by iPrac, the global certification for short-term rental hosts, and room22propertyclub.com. So my first experience of Airbnb, I fell into it by accident. I had no idea what I was doing. I'll be honest, I was winging it, like most people do. But you learn by doing it, you learn by getting stuck in, and you learn by making mistakes. The first booking I ever received was the biggest lesson, and I'm so grateful that it was the first ever booking. I had a one-bed property not a million miles away from the start line of the Great North Run. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, the Great North Run is one of the largest half marathons in the world. It has a lot of professional runners and very keen runners turn up to do it. I have a property that is within walking distance of the starting line. This is the dream property for somebody who needs to conserve energy and wants to finish the race strong. I sold that for £55 on a one-night booking as my first ever booking. Oh. The year after, I made £750 on the same weekend. So we learn from these lessons, and that was one of the biggest things. So pricing your properties, making sure you've got good minimum stays, and making sure that you know when your events are happening around your location to ensure that you maximize your profit is an absolute must. I learned this the hard way. I didn't want to cancel the booking, and that was one of the best decisions I ever made, because when you start cancelling bookings, the algorithms go against you on the booking channels and they will show your property way down the order so that you don't actually get many views. You need views to get bookings, and you've got to turn those lookers into bookers, and by having great descriptions, good photographs, that is how you will turn those lookers into bookers. Another lesson that I learned quite quickly was iPhone photographs are nowhere near as good as professional photographs. Invest in your photography, because that is your showroom. People are scrolling through many options. You need to stand out. Depending on the site that you're advertising on, you can stand out by sometimes putting logos on, putting borders on, and making sure that your descriptions are on point for your avatar. Do not regurgitate what the listings already give the customer, i.e. a 2-bed flat. Why then put a 2-bed flat in the title? It's already telling the guest that. Sleep 6, it already tells them how many it sleeps based on the standard stuff that the OTAs typically put in. Use the space on your listings to add value to what you can offer. Speak to your avatar. Tell them a story about what they're going to go through and experience by staying in your property. Don't just reel off features and benefits. Make it personal to them. For us, for example, in the United Kingdom, we deal with a lot of contractors. So we speak typically to them, turning up, needing a home away from home, relax whilst you're on site working, and just making it feel like, okay, that's the perfect stay for me. We're not trying to be everything to everybody, and that's another mistake that I made early doors. I thought I need to please everybody and try and capture all areas of the market. Focus on what you want to capture and talk to that avatar, and you will stand a higher chance of getting your properties booked. Finally, what you want to do is try and not take as much cash out of the business in the early days and be reinvesting it as much as you can to get more units. Because more units equals more cash flow. And by getting more cash flow, you can reinvest it into more assets for yourself to buy, or just getting more rental arbitrage agreements, and you will snowball quicker. You'll be able to get staff on board to help, and everything will move a bit quicker. So just keep the spend down, keep the extraction of your own salaries out of the business as much as possible if you can in the first maybe 12 to 18 months, and reinvest as much money as you can, and you will scale a hell of a lot quicker. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you check out room22propertyclub.com.